What's up everybody, welcome back to the Art of Crypto, the birthplace of absolutely legendary gains. In this video we are going to get into Bitcoin and discuss exactly what is going to happen next. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? And I'm going to give you the exact levels that I am going to be watching for and the exact trade entries that I'm going to be looking for over the next few days. And just to give you a little bit of proof that I know what I'm talking about, if you just follow me on my Twitter at _the Art of Crypto, if you haven't already, this is where I'm sharing the latest market updates. Yesterday, I shared that next stop for BTC is at least 33,300, and look where we're at right now. So that's just a little bit of proof that I'm not just pulling things out of my A. And right away, let's get into it. So to kick things off, we have to start off on the weekly chart, and I'm going to start off by marking a few key levels that we are going to have to pay attention to for Bitcoin. And these key levels, right, are namely just weekly highs and weekly lows. So for example, over here, this would be a weekly low, and then I'm just going to mark out a few more weekly lows, and these are just key levels that we should be paying attention to, and I'm going to get into why right now. So the important part about weekly levels is that we use the weekly levels to determine what is the directional bias on the institutional level, right? Because institutions are the ones that have money, and because they have money and their order sizes are literally in the hundreds of millions to even billions, there is no point for us to fight the institutions, right? And if you can't fight them, if you can't beat them, and if you can't beat them, you join them. So right now, we do not want to be trading like retail. All of this that's happening right now is just massive manipulation, and because we have no way of winning, we want to understand what the institutions are looking at and what they're thinking. So to explain this to you, the reason why weekly levels are important is because if you break through two weekly levels, right, at least two weekly levels in the same move, then that means that the trend is changing. So for example, if we go back onto the daily chart and take a look here, right, from this dump from 41k down to like 28k, and by the way, I predicted all of this on my Twitter, so you better follow my Twitter if you want to get these free and latest market updates that are highly accurate. In fact, if you were in the private group, you would have shorted Bitcoin at 41,400, right, at the exact top, but I'm going to get into that later. So notice how in this one move here, right, we literally just broke through, right, we literally dumped right below multiple weekly levels and bam 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 bam. But the key here is the moment it dumps through two weekly levels, then you know that it is bearish, right, on an institutional level. Retail might not be able to see it yet, but I was already bearish on Bitcoin like all the way back here. So not only that, but if you just take a look at this recovery right here, after we hit 28,600, by the way, I called this level as well on my Twitter. So after we hit this level, notice how in this one swing right here, we broke through 1, 2, 3, and 4 weekly levels. And that is a very good sign that Bitcoin was bullish, which is why during this entire period here, I was advising people to not short any coins. And if you just go back through my previous videos, you know that I was telling you guys not to short, right? But the impulse is towards the bullish direction, at least on the institutional perspective. And again, because they control most of the money, there's no point looking at what retail is doing. Just follow the institutions, because they're the ones that are able to move the markets like this. So right now, if you just take a look at these two weekly levels, right, they just broke through it in this one move here. We are right now breaking through two weekly levels, and so right now we are actually in a bearish environment, and we should be looking for shorts until proven otherwise. So let's dive deeper into this and let me explain what I mean by this. Notice how on this candle right here, notice how the low of this candle was lower than the previous two candles over here, and what this simply means is that this is a swing low, okay? This is important because in order for a market to be bullish, it has to form higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. But at the moment, look at this, we just broke through the previous swing low, which means we have just gotten a market structure break, which means at the moment, at least for the near future, we are right now in a bearish environment, and we should be looking to short as well as buy Bitcoin at cheaper prices. And I'm going to get into exactly where I'm looking to get Bitcoin and exactly what I'm looking for Bitcoin to do. So stick around. And if you're liking this video so far, it would help me so much if you could just drop a like button. It's a small gesture, but it really helps me a lot. So at the moment, this was actually a level that I was trying to pay attention to actually, right, at about 33,400. And the reason why is because over at this level, if you just take a look here, right, do you agree that this massive move upwards started with this candle on the 4 hourly? I'm sure you would agree. And an order block is simply the candle, right, the last candle that is preceding a massive move upwards or a massive move downwards. So for example, a bullish order block would be this last bearish candle that precedes this massive move upwards. So this is an order block right here. And for a bearish order block, it is actually this candle right here, because if you just take a look at this massive move downwards, it actually began with this candle. So order blocks, what are they? Well, simply put, all they are areas of untapped liquidity. Basically, the banks, right, or rather the institutions, before they were able to fill up their bags and fill up their positions, the asset actually moved away from them pretty quickly. And so institutions are not going to be buying Bitcoin over here. They're not going to be buying Bitcoin over here. So they're going to push the price down because they can. So what ends up happening is, what you realize is that institutions tend to push the price of something back into a previous order block before continuing into that direction. Now let me just give you an example. And by the way, I called this on my Twitter, so if you were following me on my Twitter, you would have gotten wind of this way earlier and you would have been prepared for this move right here. So just to go back into the past, right, let's take a look at a bearish order block that actually filled brilliantly. So notice how this moved downwards, right? And by the way that you check for institutional activity is actually by looking at the candle sizes. Once a candle closes, if it's a big candle like this, then you know it's made by an institution, right? Because there is no way retail, with its meager amount of money, like this is retail, by the way. Retail isn't able to move the markets much. This is caused by institutions, right? This is institutions, this is institutions, this is institutions. And if you just take a look here, right, this massive move downwards, right, this is an institutional move, was preceded by this last bullish candle behind here. And so if you were following me on my Twitter, I actually called a short at this level and at this level. Of course, we did blow past just a tiny bit, but look at this. It pretty much came back up exactly into the order block, filled the institutional positions, and bam, all the way down to my target. And right now, this is what we're seeing, right? This is an order block right here. This is a bullish order block, which means we should be looking to buy Bitcoin at this level before potentially moving even higher, which is why I have already bought Bitcoin here. And if you were following me on my Twitter, you should be buying Bitcoin here as well. Now, am I saying that this is the best price to buy Bitcoin? No, and that is why you dollar cost average. So this is going to be a level to keep in mind. What about the rest? And actually, I see a very, very important order block at the 1 hourly. And if you just go just a little bit lower, take a look here. All right. Would you agree that this massive move upwards started with this bearish candle right here? And let me just mark down this candle. It is at about 31,600. So this is going to be your order block, right? From 31,600 to 31,100. That is going to be an order block that you're going to want to pay attention to, all right? Because what you often find is that while you least expect it, the banks, right, the institutions will actually push the price down to where they want to buy, and then it's going to just pop, right? It's just going to bounce. So if you can get Bitcoin from 31,600 to 31,100, that is going to be prime buying opportunity. And where do you set your stop loss? Just a little bit below the order block, possibly at 3,800 to 3,900. As you can see, this is a very, very tight stop, and potentially, right, if you do get this trade, you have like what, a 1.5% stop loss, and the potential reward could be 10% or even higher. Because what usually happens after you fill an order block, right, is you go and chase the liquidity that is available in the market, and that is going to be the next concept that I'm going to be talking about, which is the institutions will always hunt out areas of high liquidity. So for example, over at this level right here, the reason why I was able to predict that, you know, we were coming down to at least 33,300. Like, people were going to be like tell me if you've heard this before, right, from your retail friends, where they're saying, yo, this level is strong support, baby. Look at it. We managed to find support so many times. We should go long here because this is strong support. And that is exactly what the institutions want you to think. And that is exactly what they know as well. Because if everyone is going long at this level, where would they be putting their stop losses? I would assume below the swing low, am I right? And right now, if we just bring up the VPVR indicator, you can see that there was indeed a lot of volume right beneath this level. And what happens when institutions know that there is liquidity below a level? They push the price down to stop everyone out before pushing the price back into their favor. So it's sort of a double whammy combo where you have order blocks and then you have liquidity. So at the moment, we still have an order block that is unfilled at 31,600 and 31,100. So are we going to go down to that price? No, not necessarily. I'm just saying that there is a possibility, right? Especially if we break below 32,400, then it's a straight way. Like if we break 32,400, you know that institutions are filling up an order block, so just go for this trade, okay? Even if you lose this trade, what are you losing? 1.5%? That's a really good risk to reward ratio, if you ask me. Generally, anything over 2-to-1 is generally very good for me, and I'm happy with that, and you should be too. So what happens if we really do bounce from this level, which is not the most likely, right? I would actually expect Bitcoin to bounce at 31,600 and 31,100 rather than over here, but it doesn't hurt to start dollar cost averaging at this level as well. And if you don't know what dollar cost averaging means, it is simply because nobody knows exactly where the bottom is. Well, except perhaps other than me. Because if you were in the private Discord group, you would have gotten this order, right? Back like a week ago, where I said limit long Bitcoin at 30,300 to 30,200. And if you just take a look at the price, look where it came back down to, right? It spent literally 5 minutes, like probably less than 2 minutes in this area, and then it bounced. And if there's something that you need to know, is that over here at this Discord channel, I am literally calling profitable snipes, and I'm talking snipes every single day, and you're not going to want to miss out, honestly. There's been so many people in the private Discord group that has already made back their money in just 1 or 2 trades, and every single day, just take a look. This guy just made 3 grand off of a snipe. Right, I was calling this Bitcoin short a few days back. Look at it, this guy just made 3 grand because I was calling this Bitcoin short before this actually happened. And if you were in the private Discord group, you would have caught this short, by the way. So at the end of the day, what am I trying to say? Now, I'm not promising you quick money, but what I can promise you is that if you are serious about doing crypto, if you're serious about doing trading for a career, over here at this group, you're going to get access to literally like a world-class trading education. If you want to learn exactly how I do this institutional trading thing and how I am able to, like, if you go on my Twitter, you notice that I really snipe a lot of entries, right? A lot, and I'm generally right quite a lot of the time. So if you want to learn exactly how to do that, you're going to want to check out the private Discord group, where right now, even though monthly is closed, you can still sign up for semi-annual and above, and you can get up to 40% off. The link is in the description. Like, for real, forget the trading calls that I'm making every single day that is, making some pretty ridiculous profits. If you're serious about doing this, the knowledge that you acquire in this group is literally going to stay with you for a lifetime, and it's going to pay itself off real quick. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below. I look forward to seeing you in there. So let's go back to Bitcoin. So just now I was talking about liquidity, and there are 2 very important levels of liquidity that you're going to want to keep in mind right now. The first of which is right below this level. So imagine what retail is going to be thinking, right? They're going to be thinking, yo, this level has been pretty strong support. And I'm sure you have a friend, or perhaps you yourself are thinking this as well. And if you are, don't fall into the institution's trap, okay? What they want you to do is to go long at this level, and then they're going to stop you out. And then they're going to bring price down to an order block before going in the other direction. So if you want to go long at support, like, go ahead. Just make sure your stop loss is below this level, or at least below the order block on the 1 hourly. So right now I'm literally giving you the exact levels of where I would be buying Bitcoin right now and what I'm expecting Bitcoin to do. So if you can't even mark down these levels on your own chart, there is nothing more that I can do for you. So what happens after 31,600? After that, I do believe that we are instantly going to come up back to about 35k or 35,300-ish. Right now it's a bit too early to tell, so I'm going to be updating things as we go along on my Twitter, so make sure you follow me there. But if we really do come back down to 31,600, I'm expecting this level to be very, very brilliant as an order block. And if you do get Bitcoin here, expect the price to bounce. Even if it doesn't come all the way back here or all the way back up here, you could still expect at least a 5% to possibly 10% move, and that is nothing to scoff at, my friend. 5% to 10%, it's not a small move, right? You can make really good money catching 5 to 10% waves. So what happens if we were to bounce from this level right here? So what you want to keep in mind is that there is a lot of liquidity above this level, right? You have to start training yourself to see where the liquidity is at on the market. In this case, people are actually going to be looking to short at this level, right? Especially if you go onto a website like Datamish or BYBT, and if you see shorts start to build up at around this level, then that is your confirmation that institutions are 100% going to stop them out, push the price higher, and potentially come back up to possibly, right? Possibly, this is not confirmed yet, 38k. Of course, I am going to be updating this as we go, but for now, these are going to be the moves to play. So what if you don't want to go for the sniper entries? Well, in this case, then you're going to want to just simply, you're going to want to look for a break above this level here at 35,300. Now, this ties into that previous concept I talked about, you know, swing lows and swing highs. Notice how this is a swing high right here because this candle is taller than the previous two candles next to it. So this is a previous swing high. If Bitcoin were able, oh, actually, this is a swing high as well. So if Bitcoin actually breaks above this level right here at 34,500, then you know that this is a break of structure, right? At least in the short term. And if it comes back down to form a higher low and then proceeds to move upwards, that is going to be your entry, right? If you get this higher low and then it starts breaking above this level right here at 35,300, that is going to be your entry, right? As it's breaking above, you can enter in along with the breakout because this is what you call a break of structure. And if it really does break this level right here, you are going to want to look for buys every time it pulls back. So let's say it breaks above this level and then it pulls back down to this level, right? Flipping this resistance into support. If it does that, that is going to be your entry number 2, right? It's a very safe entry because you can place your stop loss like literally right below at like what, 34,800 or something. And it's going to be a really safe entry because the risk to reward is, you know, at the very least, right? At the very least 3, right? Even if it just comes back up to the previous high, that is a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, although it's not a big amount of gain. But remember, it's not about the big wins that get you rich in trading, right? Trading is a long game. What's important is that you develop good habits over time, and the little wins, right? The small wins over time is going to add up massively. And I'm just saying, if you want a place where you can develop these kinds of habits and build a solid foundation to start your crypto trading career, you're going to want to check out the private Discord group. Like, for real, there have been people who are doing this for over a decade and they're still learning new things from me. So I'm just saying, it's going to be a good place for you to build a foundation. Alright, forget the calls, the knowledge is going to stay with you for a lifetime. So even if it just comes back up to the previous high, you're already going to get a 3.6%. But what I'm really seeing is for Bitcoin to actually come back up to 38k, and in this case, this is going to turn into a 6-to-1 reward ratio trade. So definitely look out for this level break. And if you didn't catch that, I'm going to want you to rewind a little bit so that you can understand what I'm getting at. So for now, these are the levels that you're going to want to pay attention to. And if you've watched till this point so far, I want you to comment down in the comment section 1%, because you're probably among the 1% of people who are serious enough about their crypto trading career that they're willing to watch something like this for like, what, 15 minutes? While other people are out there listening to Elon sing about baby doge do 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 do. Yeah, you get the point. So seriously, if you keep this up, you're going to be successful, and that is without question, right? It is only a matter of when. Just remember, nothing is confirmed until it is confirmed, so you're going to want to wait for confirmation before you go ahead with it, okay? And with that said, my friend, may the gains be with you, and peace.